What's here, y'all? Welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, upon request from one of our loyal subscribers, Ronnie Bravo, we're going to take a look at the King's Plate. And I'm really glad, Ronnie, you made this suggestion because this is probably the best betting race of the weekend and maybe the best betting race of the year. It's an ungraded stakes, but it is $1 million purse. So, to me, you treat this as a grade one. Ninth race on the card at Woodbine, running a mile and a quarter on the all weather for 3 year olds. So think of this as the Kentucky Derby on synthetic surface for Canada. Now, just one note I always like to make about synthetics, and for those of you who play it on a regular basis, know this. Turfway Park in the winter is a great reference point for the way synthetic can play. Woodbine and Turfway are not the same. I want to make that clear in terms of surfaces, but the synthetic surfaces can be very quirky. They can change as far as bias goes or what kind of horse wins races. So you want to get a feel for how the track is playing early on. It's really important with synthetic. There are times when early speed is very potent on synthetic tracks, but more often than not, it does play to the closers. But you do want to watch the first few races to get a feel for it, and that will inform your betting because this race is going to require every edge you can get to bring it home, I feel. So we'll take a look at this. One of the things about this race that makes it such a good betting race is the horses are extremely similar, talent wise, class wise, speed wise. I mean, they're all very, very similar. And when you have a situation like that, it's going to be the minutia that separates and distinguishes one horse from the other in your handicapping. So, taking a look at this field, we'll start with you notice there's no dedicated front runner. Now, Ashley's Archer is one that will go to the lead or can. And I believe Mythical Man might have a shot at doing that as well. But I think Scorching is probably the most likely pace setter. It seems to be more keen than the others to get to the lead. I really don't think he can hold it. He has done pretty well amongst this class of 3 year olds. They've all been basically beating each other up. But I think it's a real tall order to take them all the way at a mile and a quarter. And I think that's what Scorching would have to do. So I'll pass. Mancetti, I just had a pretty nice win. But I can't, I just don't see where this horse stacks up and can be separated from the rest of them. And moreover, being by Collected, to me, is a kind of a red flag for a mile and a quarter. Collected is still a young sire, so we're not exactly sure how long they want to go. But everything to me says that this horse probably doesn't want a mile and a quarter, so I'm going to toss. Mythical Man isn't good enough. That's the bottom line to that. Now, DeWolf is extremely intriguing and is kind of like the poster child for this race. At 2 years old, did very well, fit very well within this class. But note, this horse has never won at Woodbine. Has had a couple seconds in the third. And this year, the last couple of starts, it looks to me like this horse either has not progressed from 2 years old or hasn't figured it out yet. Because you see, this horse doesn't win a lot, gets in the money quite a bit. So I'm wondering if it's a maturity issue. Now, you do have Flavian Pratt aboard. And of course, that automatically elevates this horse in consideration, doesn't it? The work tab is very solid. The works are really sharp. But also note that Flavian Pratt's on, I think, of 7 of his 9 mounts at Woodbine. He's riding for Kevin Attard. So it's more of a contract type issue. Maybe not necessarily that DeWolf merits Flavian Pratt being aboard, if that makes any sense. However, I think there's enough here. There's some back class and, again, a really solid work tab and Flavian Pratt. I think you have to include DeWolf, but I have a lot of trouble putting this horse on top. And at 8-1, Probably going to get hammered down from that because of Flavian Pratt. So the Wolf we're going to use, but I can't go with on top. Tom's Magic, I think, is a really solid contender in here. I think is a very good fit. I think is going to love a mile and a quarter. That damn Dixie Chicken is really classy. And a lot of times in a race like this, class can win out. I think 5-1 is a square price for the third choice. And every indication is Tom's Magic is a really good fit here. And I think that the mile and a quarter distance may put above some of these others. So we really like Tom's Magic here, and we're going to use for sure. But our win candidate, the one we settled on, is Ashley's Archer, number 13, trained by Mark Casse. This one, the things I really like is, number one, this horse has had quite a few starts, so he's seasoned. He had good success at 2, and he's shown some, and he's had some success at 3, so he's progressed. What I like is this horse can win on the front end. This horse can win from coming off the pace. Extremely flexible. And I think that's very important, especially when you consider coming from the 13 hole, this horse does not have to have the lead. So I think can work out a trip. Sahin Savachi knows this horse and is a good jockey for Mark Casse. The last race you could look at and say, okay, well, finished second, went basically second all the way around the track, and that might be a little troubling, except when you think about Mark Casse and how he does things. Now, you go back to the Oaks Trail with Lucara. I loved Lucara in the Devona Dale. 1-turn mile, front runner, Gulfstream, right? Didn't work out. Then I find out after the Ashland, which Lucara came back and won, that was the plan all along. And Mark Casse was planning for the Ashland, and he said we deliberately took our pedal off, a foot off the gas pedal with the Devona Dale. Now, if you figure the King's Plate is what Ashley's Archer was actually pointing for, then it makes perfect sense that Ashley's Archer came off the bench and ran, probably a disappointing second, but certainly wasn't tuned up all the way. And that race, that number, that Brisnet number fits right in line with everybody else in here. So a logical step forward puts Ashley's Archer over the top. And at 12-1, I love the price, so Ashley's Archer is our pick. I like Sedbury's Ghost too. I liked what he did in his last start. I like his good long stride. I think a mile and a quarter is going to make a lot of sense for him, and he's my second choice. I think he's a very strong candidate here, coming from off the pace. If he can work out a trip, and that is going to be the key to this race, is who gets the trip. But I think Sedbury's Ghost makes a lot of sense as well. Finally, the horse that we're going to throw in there is Faber. Why? He's a closer. That's all. A suck up at 30-1 just for the price. Bottom of the try of the Super. That's the extent of it. But I want to talk about a couple horses that we've excluded that you might be surprised at. No Time from Mark Casse, a filly. Fillies have won 7 out of the last 9. That's absolutely true. I don't like her at 7-2 as the favorite, the lukewarm favorite, albeit. The last race was a career high for her, and has the kind of look to me like a horse who might back off from that in the next start. Moreover, fillies are notorious for running big and then regressing afterwards. It's splitting hairs. It is Mark Casse. He knows what to do with a good horse. I grant you all of that. But in this race, do you really want the favorite, even at 7-2? I can't separate her from the rest of them to say that she'll win this race. So rather than even toy around with No Time, I'm throwing out. I'll get better value with the other horses, and I'll let her beat me. If you want to use her, I can understand it. You could say that for just about every horse in this race. But if we have to split hairs, I look at No Time and think maybe that this one is ready to regress a little bit. So I'll go with the other Mark Casse, like we do with the other Chad Brown. I'll take Ashley's Archer. Notorious Gangster is another one who seems to fit amongst the prime competitors here and has done pretty well. But I'll tell you, I noticed the last race one thing. I didn't like the stride length. and it was kind of like watching Cornucopia. For those of you who remember that horse from the Derby Trail earlier, you just saw a short stride, fast, no doubt, but has to me the look more of a sprinter. And I think the longer it goes, the more that becomes a liability. So Notorious Gangster will beat me as well, and I'm going to throw out. Finally, the Runaway Again. Now, how many times on the Derby Trail have we seen a horse with an impressive maiden win flame out when going into a stakes race? Most notably last year, Patch Adams, uh, Hall of Fame last year, Nash last year. It and the reason you can't figure it out unless you go and look at some real simple things. Brisnet offers the race rating and the class rating, and those of you who follow my posts know I pay a lot of attention to that, and it does usually give you an answer when you're unsure about a horse. Okay, the maiden race Runaway Again ran on was a 109 class rating, or race rating rather. That's a low end, mediocre maiden field that Runaway Again beat. Convincingly, impressively, I grant you all of that, but didn't beat a whole lot. The class rating Runaway Again got was 114. For reference, Patch Adams, in his maiden win, was a 109 race rating, and he had a 113. I believe John Hancock did as well. So now you take a horse who's going into his second career start, moving up into essentially a grade 1 race at a mile and a quarter distance. Not for me. Could you throw in as a flyer maybe for third in the trifecta? Sure. I mean, this horse has talent. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just say at this stage of the game, I can't do it. But including the bottom of your super or your try, sure. At 12-1, you get the square price. But I have a feeling this one's going to kind of become a wise guy horse, and then you're probably not going to get your value is going to be prohibitive. It's going to be more like 8 or 6-1, something like that. And I don't want Runaway Again at that price. So this is a race that value is imperative to me, and I think I've got a really good case on a horse with a really good price, and that's Ashley's Archer. So we'll go to our wagering strategy. We're going to bet the 13 to win. We're going to bet 13-12. Sedbury's Ghost is a really solid second choice. Then we're going to go 12-13. And then we're going to do an exacta key box 13 on top with 8-11. I like Tom's Magic in here too. To me, 11, 12, and 13 are the strongest plays in this race. Excuse me. So for our trifecta, we're going to do 13 on top with 8, 11, 12. And then we'll throw in Faber for third, so 6, 8, 11, 12. And then for our superfecta, we'll do 13 on top with 8, 11, 12, with 6, 8, 11, 12, with all. Because this is the kind of race that literally anybody can finish in fourth. It's just has that feel to it. So we're going for value. I think you have to find it. It's a great betting race. You can make a case for probably 7 or 8 horses in this race comfortably, and so we'll take our shot, and hopefully we can land on top. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. I wish you the best of luck as always, and certainly if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And thanks to all of you who continue to grow our community, and thanks for the comments, Ronnie. This was a really great suggestion, and I hope it works out for all of us for sure. Got plenty of content coming. We'll have our Saratoga selections for Saturday's card available at redditthewire.com. We have individual posts for the Alabama, as well as the Alabama Pick 5. And we've got the Travers coming up next week. We will have full coverage of that. I will be there as well. So if you see me, please come by and say hello. And we're going to we got the Pacific Classic. We'll definitely have some Del Mar in the future. So plenty more content coming from Reddit The Wire. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.